Good morning, everyone. My name is Danielle Manala, and I will be the one who will discuss Chapter 10, which is all about research proposal presentation and presentation of completed projects. So, before we delve deeper into the subject matter, let's first define what is research proposal. Based on the dictionary, proposal is defined as a proposing or setting forth for consideration, something proposed, an offer, a proposition, scheme, a plan, a bid, or the like. The research proposal is then the plan for an intended investigation. Research proposal is nothing more than a written plan for conducting research study. It is a generally accepted and commonly required prerequisite for carrying out a research investigation. It communicates a researcher's intentions, make clear the purpose of the intended study and its justification. And it also provides a step-by-step plan for conducting the study. Accordingly, proposal is different from a research report in that a research paper is an account of what has happened, while the proposal is an account of what will happen in the future. In view hereof, it is expected that the parts are the same in both reports, with the exception of the findings and the later chapter, which are absent in a proposal. Most of the verbs used in the proposal are therefore in the future and in the present tenses, while in research report, the tenses are mostly in the past. In addition, the research proposal identifies problems, state questions and hypotheses, identifies variables, and define terms. It permits others to learn about the intended research and to offer suggestions for improving the study. It helps the researcher clarify what needs to be done and helps him or her avoid unintentional pitfalls or unknown problems. In relation, research proposal presentations are essential in process in which scholars present their proposed research to an audience, typically consisting of faculty members, peers, and other stakeholders. These presentations are integral to both academic and professional realms. This chapter encompasses an overview of the research presentation, wherein it involves research questions, methodology, and significance. The primary objective is to articulate the research questions, justify the necessity of the study, and outline the procedures for conducting the research. This process also provides an opportunity to receive feedback and demonstrate the feasibility and relevance of the proposed study. So now, let's proceed with our agenda. So we have the following subtopics in relation to this chapter. So we are going to discuss the following subtopics in order to understand the various information that covers the subject matter. So let's first start with the importance of research proposal and presentation. So proposals are crucial for several reasons. The first one is the clarification of ideas, wherein research proposal helps to clarify the research ideas, questions, and objectives of the study. Second is guidance and planning. Research proposal serves as a roadmap, providing a step by step outline and identifying the necessary resources for the research. Next is communication. Research proposal enables researchers to communicate their research plans and significance to the stakeholders, facilitating a feedback and potential collaboration. And lastly, feasibility assessment. So, research proposal assists in assessing the feasibility of the research, identifying potential challenges and limitations. So, given the aforementioned research, why research proposal is crucial, such importance would be wasted if such study would not proceed or not presented to the stakeholders. Therefore, we must also know the importance of research presentation. So, research presentations play a vital role for the following reasons. The first one is knowledge dissemination. So, research presentation allow researchers to share their findings with a broader audience, contributing to the advancement to their field. Second is feedback and collaboration. Research presentation provide opportunities for feedback, critique, and possible collaboration with peers and experts. Next is for skill development. Research presentation helps in developing and enhancing visual and oral communication skills of the researchers. Next is for professional development. Research presentation could open doors to opportunities, boosting the professional profile and networking prospect of the research or the researchers. Inspiration and impact. The engaging presentations can inspire and motivate the audience, thereby enhancing the impact of the research. Therefore, in summary, research proposals and presentations are indispensable in the research process. They not only clarify and guide the research journey, but also play a significant role in disseminating knowledge, receiving feedback, and fostering professional growth. Now, let's proceed with the comprehensive discussion of research proposal presentation and presentation of completed research project. So, research proposal presentation and presentation of completed project is quite similar. The major difference is that research proposal presentation is the beginning of or the first presentation to be initiated before proceeding in furthering the study. This mostly encompasses the chapter 1 to 3. Meanwhile, for the presentation of completed research project, this incorporates the findings and conclusions of the study, which would be found in the latter part of the research, which is mostly known as the chapter 4 to 5 of this research. Even there is a major difference as to the content of the presentation, the structure of both presentation is quite the same as they support one main objective. In line with this, for us to fully understand, grasp the idea and structure of both presentation are incorporated the topics in a tabular format and compare their contents. So first, let's discuss what is the major difference with regards to the introduction to research proposal presentation versus introduction to presentation of completed proj- research project. In presentation of research proposal, this is the stage where researchers articulate their research questions, objectives, and proposed methods to an audience. And the primary goal is to demonstrate the significance and feasibility of the research plan and to garner support and feedback from experts in the field. While in presentation of completed project, this is considered a pivotal moment as the researchers summarize and share their final findings and is considered crucial for demonstrating the researchers' validity, significance, and contribution to the field. It also provides an opportunity for scholars to showcase their work and receive feedback before the final submission or defense. In comparison, the presentation of a research proposal focuses on outlining the planned research and justifying its necessity, while the presentation of a completed research project emphasizes sharing and validating the final findings and their significance. In summary, both stages are crucial for securing support, receiving feedback, and contributing to the advancement of knowledge in the field. Second is the purpose of presentation versus the purpose and objectives. In presentation of research proposal, this is to validate the research plan and to show that the proposed study address a significant problem, employ a sound methodology, and contributes to existing knowledge. This also allows for assessment of research potential, impact, and practicality. In presentation of completed research project, this enables to communicate the results of the research clearly and effectively. This also aims to illustrate how their findings address the research questions, contribute to the field, and provide practical implications or theoretical advancements. The objective is to provide a well rounded view of the completed study and engage with the audience for constructive critique. In summary, while the research proposal presentation aims to validate and refine the research plan for demonstrating its significance and feasibility, the presentation of a completed research project focuses on communicating the findings, their contributions, and practical implications, engaging the audience for critique and further discussions. Next is for components of research proposal presentation versus the structure of the presentation. In presentation of research proposal, uh, it must include several key components such as introduction, literature review, research questions or hypothesis, methodology, expected outcomes, and significance, which must be clearly defined and effectively communicated to provide a comprehensive overview of the proposed research. Meanwhile, in the presentation of completed research project, this typically includes the introduction, methodology, results, discussion, and conclusion. This should be designed to flow logically, which helps the audience to follow the narrative from the research questions to the final conclusions. In summary, while the presentation of a research proposal focuses on outlining and justifying the planned study, the presentation of completed research project emphasizes communicating the results and their significance, ensuring a logical flow from the initial research questions to the final conclusions. So, both types of presentations are essential for different stages of the process, serving distinct purposes and audiences. So, next, let's proceed with the introduction and background for both presentation. In the presentation of research proposal, this provides the context of the research problem, wherein this includes outlining the background information, explaining why the research is necessary, and describing the problem or gap that the study aims to address. This also sets the stage for the audience to understand the research relevance. Meanwhile, in presentation of completed research project, this portion briefly revisits the research problem, objectives, and significance. This sets the stage for understanding the context and the relevance of the research. It also provides the concise summary of why the research was conducted and its importance to the field. In summary, while the research proposal presentation focuses on providing a detailed background and justification for the proposed study, the presentation of the completed research project revisits the initial problem and objectives to highlight the significance and outcomes of the research. So, both presentations aim to establish the relevance of the research, but at different stages and research process. Next is for the literature review. In the presentation of research proposal, this involves the summarization of the existing research related to the topic. The researchers should highlight key studies, theories, and findings and support the need of their study. This also demonstrates the researcher's familiarity with the field and situates the proposed study within the broader academic context. Next is for research question or hypothesis. The researchers should present their research questions or hypotheses in a precise manner, explaining how these questions will guide the study. It is crucial that the questions are clear and relevant for the proposal success. Next is for the methodology. In the presentation of research proposal, the methodology section outlines the research design and methods that will be used to collect and analyze the data. The researchers must explain their chosen methods, justify their selections, and describe how these methods will address the research questions. This should cover data collection techniques, sampling strategies, and analysis procedures. Meanwhile, in presentation of completed research project, this section details how the research was conducted, and researchers should summarize the research design, data collection methods, and analysis procedures. This should clarify how the methodology addressed the research questions and how it contributed to the reliability and viability of the findings. Therefore, in summary, the methodology section in a research proposal presentation focuses on outlining and justifying the planned methods. Whereas in a completed research project presentation, it details and summarizes the actual methods used and, and emphasizing how they address the research questions and ensure reliable and valid findings. Next is we do have the data collection, sampling, and data analysis versus the results. In presentation of research proposal, the researchers should detail the tools and techniques they will use to gather information such as surveys, interviews, or observations. This includes how the sampling strategy should be described, including how participants will be selected and how the sample size will be determined. And in addition, in relation to data analysis, this section presents the key findings of the research and highlights the significant data, trends, or patterns observed in the study. This section often includes visual aids such as charts, graphs, or tables to effectively convey complex information and support the findings. In presentation of research proposal, the researchers should explain how the collected data will be analyzed. This includes describing the analytical methods such as statistical tests or qualitative analysis techniques and how these methods will help in answering the research questions. This should be aligned with the research designs and objectives. In totality, the presentation of a research proposal focuses on detailing and justifying the planned tools, techniques, sampling strategies, and analytical methods to ensure the proposed research is sound and feasible. In contrast, the presentation of a completed research project highlights the key findings and interprets the results using visual aids to convey complex information and demonstrating the significance and contributions of the research, wherein both presentations serve distinct purposes at different stages of the research project. Next is we do have the expected outcomes, significance, and contribution versus the discussion and conclusion. So, in presentation of research proposal, in the expected outcome section, this outlines the anticipated results of the study. Researchers should discuss what they hope to find and how these findings will contribute to the field. This helps the audience to understand the potential impact and significance of the research. Accordingly, in the significance and contribution, the researchers must articulate the significance of their study and potential contribution to the field. This includes how the research will advance knowledge, address existing gaps, and provide practical applications. In presentation of completed research project, this section interprets the results in the context of research questions and existing literature. This should explain the implications of their findings and how they contribute to the field and any new insights or theoretical advancements. This connects the results to the broader issues or questions. Accordingly, for conclusion, the researcher should summarize the key findings and their implications. This should reflect on the overall contribution of the research and any limitation or areas for further study. A strong conclusion reinforces the significance of the research and its potential impact. In summary, the expected outcomes and significance section in a research proposal presentation focuses on outlining and justifying the anticipated results and contributions, helping the audience understand the researcher's potentials. In contrast, the results, interpretation, and conclusion section in a completed research project presentation focus on explaining and summarizing the actual findings, their implications, contributions, and areas for further study, demonstrating the research overall significance and impact. Next is for visual aids and presentation tools. So, an effective use, the effective use of visual aids is crucial for enhancing the presentation. Researchers should incorporate slides, graphs, and charts to illustrate key points and make the presentation more engaging and enhance the clarity, impact of the presentation. Visual age Visual aids could help clarify complex information and support the oral presentation. Next is for presentation skills. Presentation skills are essential for a compelling presentation. Researchers should practice speaking clearly and confidently, maintaining eye contact, and engaging with the audience. Effective communication helps convey the research findings persuasively and professionally. Next is handling questions and feedback versus engaging with the audience and handling questions and feedback for both presentation. Engaging with the audience involves addressing questions, clarifying points, and responding to feedback. Therefore, researchers should be prepared to interact with the audience and handle critics constructively. This interaction provide valuable insights and demonstrate the researcher's expertise. Accordingly, handling questions and feedback must be done professionally, and the researchers should listen carefully, respond thoughtfully, and demonstrate willingness to address concerns or make adjustments based on feedback, as this helps refining the research and enhances its credibility. Next is preparation and practice versus preparation and rehearsal. So, a thorough preparation and rehearsal are key to a successful presentation. Researchers should practice their presentation multiple times, refine their content, and anticipate potential questions. Adequate presentation ensures a smooth delivery and build confidence. Next is the ethical considerations of both presentations. Researchers should address ethical considerations related to their study. This includes ensuring that there is an informed consent, maintain participants' confidentiality, and addresses any ethical issues that may arise during the research. Demonstrating a commitment to ethical practices is essential, and discussing how ethical issues were managed and ensuring that the research adhered to ethical standards in order to maintain the integrity of the research. Next is revising the proposal and revising based on feedback. This involves the revision for both either the presentation wherein the research could incorporate suggestions, identifies the weaknesses, and making any improvements either to enhance the quality and feasibility of the research plan for research proposal or before the final submission or defense in order to enhance the quality and impact of the research for completed projects. Next is conclusion and next steps versus the final submission or defense preparation. In the presentation of research proposal, this section should conclude with a summary of the key points and a discussion of the next steps. This outlines any follow-up actions such as submitting a revised proposal or preparing for the research phase. In the preparation of completed research project, the researchers should prepare for the final submission or defense of their project in this section. This includes finalizing the research report, ensuring that the required documentation is complete, and addressing any remaining issues or concerns. Next is the documentation and reporting for the presentation of completed research projects. The researchers must make sure that the documentation and reporting are accurate and ensure that all data, results, and analysis are documented thoroughly and that the research report is well organized and formatted according to the academic standards. Lastly is the conclusion and reflection. Researchers should reflect on the experience, assess the feedback received, and consider the impact of the research on the field. The reflection helps in preparing for future research endeavors and professional development. So now, after discussing the comprehensive discussion for research proposal presentation and presentation of completed research project, now let's proceed to guidelines in crafting PowerPoint and other presentation. As mentioned in the visual aids and presentation, this section is crucial is considered a crucial factor in the presentation phase of your research study. It is pivotal to have a well crafted presentation in order to effectively communicate, demonstrate, and present your research. Therefore, here are some tips in order to achieve a well structured presentation to achieve a successful thesis. So, for the detailed tips and guides, let's first start with understanding your audience. First, you must know your audience. Tailor your presentation to the knowledge level and interest of your audience, which may include professors, peers, and external reviewers. Address their potential questions and concerns accordingly. Next is to adjust complexity. Balance the technical details with general explanations. Ensure that your presentation is accessible to those who might not be specialists in your field. Second is to structure your presentation clearly. Let's first start with the introduction. You must start with a brief overview of your research topic, objectives, and significance, and provide context and state the purpose of your research. Followed by the literature review, wherein you must summarize the key literature that supports your research and highlights the gaps your study addresses. This is followed by methodology, wherein you will explain the research design, methods of data collection, and analysis techniques, wherein this ensures the clarity and justify your choices. Next is the results, wherein you are going to present your findings in a clear and concise manner, wherein you must use visuals to help illustrate key points of your research or study. And lastly, you must in the discussion and conclusion, you must interpret your results, discuss their implications, and summarize the main conclusions, or wherein you must address the limitations and suggest future research directions. For the third is you must design your slides effectively, wherein you must keep it simple, wherein you must avoid clutter slides, and use bullet points to break down information and limit text to key points as much as possible. Next is use visuals wisely. You may or must incorporate charts, graphs, and images to illustrate data and support your arguments as much as possible, or as you see fits. Ensure that the visuals are clear and relevant accordingly to your study. Next is follow a consistent formatting. You must use a consistent font, color scheme, and layout throughout the presentation. This helps maintaining a professional appearance and appetizing presentation to your audience. And lastly, make the fonts readable. You must choose eligible fonts and sizes to avoid overly decorative fonts and ensure text is large enough to be read from a distance. For the fourth is you must focus on clarity and precision, wherein you must make your titles and labels clear, which you must ensure that in each slide there has a clear title and all the visuals are appropriately labeled. Next is you must highlight the key points. You could either use a bullet points, bold text, or colors to emphasize important information without overwhelming the audience. And lastly, you must avoid using jargons. Accordingly, you must, as much as possible, use simple language and define any technical terms or jargons wherein this could help in making your presentation accessible to a broader audience. For the fifth is you must practice your delivery. First is to rehearse, wherein you must practice your presentation multiple times to become familiar with the content and flow, and set a time for yourself to ensure you stay within the allotted time. Next is to control the pace and tone, wherein you must speak clearly and at moderate pace. Vary your tone to keep audience engaged. And lastly, engage with the audience. As much as possible, you must make eye contact and interact with your audience. Use gestures and movement to emphasize key points. And for the sixth is that prepare for Q&A. You must anticipate questions and prepare for potential questions related to your research methodology, results, and implications. You must practice answering them confidently. Next is stay composed. During a Q&A session, listen carefully to the questions and take a moment of formulate thoughtful responses. If you don't know the answer, acknowledge it honestly and suggest ways to find out. For the seventh is that utilize technology effectively. You must have a backup of your presentation. This uh, saves your presentation on you must save your presentation on multiple devices, either through USB drive, cloud storage, to avoid any possible technical issues that might arise. Next is you must test your equipment accordingly. Check the compatibility of your presentation with the available equipment, either the projector or the computer, before the defense. This ensures that all multimedia elements work as expected before the presentation. For the aid is that incorporate the feedback. You must seek input. Share your presentation with peers or advisors before the defense and get their feedback on content and delivery. And make adjustments. Incorporate the constructive feedback to improve the clarity, addresses the weakness, and enhance the overall effectiveness of your research. Ninth is that you must handle the technical issues, and therefore you must have a plan B. Be prepared for potential technical problems and have at least a printed copies of key slides or a backup method to present if there is any possible technological fails that you may encounter. Next is stay calm. If issues arises, stay calm and address them promptly. Ensure that the technical problems do not disturb the flow of your presentation. And lastly, conclude effectively. You must summarize your key points and end your presentation with a concise summary of your research findings and contributions. And then express your gratitude by thanking your audience for their time and attention, wherein this shows professionalism and appreciation for their feedback and support. Now, let's proceed with the additional tips. First is to practice with timing. You must ensure that each section of your presentation fits within the time limit. Allocate time for each segment and practice accordingly. Second is visual consistency. Maintain consistency in visual design, including color scheme and slide transitions, to create a cohesive and professional presentation. Third is to engage with slides. Don't just read from the slides. Use them as prompts to elaborate on key points and maintain engagement with the audience. So, therefore, after accomplishing the research proposal and successfully achieve moving to the next phase and prepare for the presentation, you have to practice and prepare for the probable panel questions, either for pre-oral or final defense. So, just like what we have discussed in the sections, handling questions and feedbacks are one of the crucial and necessary factors in order to achieve a successful research or study. And in order to achieve that, you must prepare and ready yourself to the possible questions that will be thrown to you during your defense. So let's first start with the common panel questions during pre-oral defense. So first, we have the research rationale and the objectives. So one of the example of questions that might be raised to you is that what motivates you to choose this research topic? For example, my topic is related to technological advancement in business process, wherein I would answer this by me or either the researchers choose this topic because of its crucial role in enhancing efficiency, productivity, and innovation in today's competitive market in business sectors, particularly in SMEs. And let's say one of the additional question that would be thrown to you during the pre-oral defense in relation to this topic is that how did you define the research problem and what are the specific objectives of your study? If I would answer this based on the sample topic, is that the research problem was defined by identifying the challenges and inefficiencies that SMEs businesses face without the integration of advanced technologies that that technologies. The specific objectives of the studies are to analyze the impact of technological advancements on business operations, evaluate the effectiveness of the current technologies, and identify the opportunities for future improvement. Now, let's proceed with the literature review. So, what are the possible questions that might arise in the during your pre-oral defense? So, as an example, this question could be thrown to you as well. Can you identify any major gaps in the literature that your research addresses? In relation to the topic, you could answer or the researcher could answer that the research problem was defined by identifying the challenges and inefficiencies that businesses face without the integration of advanced technologies, as seen in the study of Mona Algahani and Nermin Khalifa on technological advancement practices. The specific objectives of the study are to analyze the impact of technological advancements on the business operations, evaluate the effectiveness of the current technologies, and identifies opportunities for future improvements. Next is for the methodology. So there are various questions as well that could be thrown to you during the pre-oral defense. And one of the example could be is that what is the rationale behind your chosen research methodology? This could be answered by the rationale behind my chosen research methodology is to combine both quantitative and qualitative approaches, wherein quantitative methods such as surveys provides measurable data that can be statistically analyzed, while qualitative methods like interviews and case studies offer deeper insights to the context and experiences of the businesses adopting to technological advancements, and this mixed method approach ensures a comprehensive understanding of the topic. Next is the feasibility and scope. So, one of the questions that might be thrown to you is that are there any aspect of your research that you anticipate will be challenging to complete? So, in my perspective, this could be answered by one challenging aspect the researchers anticipate is that achieving a high response rate for the surveys. Additionally, scheduling and conducting in-depth interviews may be time consuming. These challenges may affect the timeline and data quality if not managed properly. Next is the data collection and analysis. So, one of the example questions could be, what strategies will you use to analyze your data effectively? So, as a researcher, uh, I will analyze the data through quantitative and using descriptive and inferential statistics to identify trends and patterns. For qualitative data, I will use thematics analysis to uncover key themes and insights. This combined approach allows for a comprehensive analysis of the data. And lastly, for significance and impact. So, what could be the possible question is that what is the expected contribution of your research to the field? This could be answered by the expected contribution of my research to the field includes providing a deeper understanding of how technological advancements enhance business processes, offering practical recommendations for businesses, and filing existing gaps in the literature on the long term effects of technology adaptation. Next is, let's proceed with the most or common panel questions during the final defense. So let's discuss what are the possible questions to the research findings. So first is, can you summarize the key findings of your research? This could be answered by the key findings of my research indicate that technological advancements have significantly streamlined the business processes, leading to increased efficiency and productivity. The adaptation of technologies such as automation, artificial intelligence, and data analytics has shown measurable improvements in operational performance. So, for interpretation and implication, one of the example questions could be, what are the practical or theoretical implications of your results? So this could be answered by the practical implications of my results include providing businesses with actionable insights on integrating technology to enhance their processes. Theoretically, my research adds to the understanding of the role of technology in business development and innovation. Next is for critical analysis. So, one of the questions could be, what are the strengths and weaknesses of your research? The strengths of my research includes a comprehensive mixed method approach and focus on both quantitative and qualitative data. The weakness could be or include potential biases in self-reported data and the limited scope of the sample size. Next is that the ethical or sorry the ethical considerations. So the possible question could be, how did you ensure that your research adhered to the ethical standards? The researcher ensured that the research adhered to the ethical standards by obtaining informed consent from all participants and maintaining confidentiality and data protection throughout the study. So next is we do have the uh, future research. So, based on your findings, what are the future research directions do you suggest? So, based on my findings, future research directions include exploring the long term impact of specific technologies on different business sectors and conducting comparative studies across the regions. Lastly, is for next is for conclusion and recommendations. The possible question could be, what are the main conclusions drawn from your research? This could be answered by the many conclusions drawn from my research are the technological advancements significantly enhance business processes and that successfully adopt requires careful planning and strategy. For practical challenges, the possible question could be, how did you manage the time and resources effectively throughout the research process? This could be answered by the effective time and research management were achieved by creating a detailed project timeline, prioritizing tasks, and regularly reviewing the progress to stay on track. Next is for revision and feedback. The possible question could be, what changes or improvements did you make to your research based on your prior feedbacks? This could be this could be answered by that the researchers changes and made improvements based on feedback included in refining my survey instruments, expanding the sample size, and enhancing the robustness of the data analysis techniques. Next is the technical details. The possible question could be, can you explain the technical aspect of your data analysis of experimental procedures? So this could be answered by the technical aspects of my data analysis involves using statistical software to perform descriptive and inferential analysis and employing thematic analysis for qualitative data. Experimental procedures were carefully documented to ensure replicability. Next is for theoretical and practical integration. The possible question is that what is the relevance of your research to current trends or challenges in the field? This could be answered by the relevance of my research to the current trends includes addressing the increasing need for technological integration in a rapid evolving business landscape and offering solutions to common implication challenges. And that's my report all about. I think thank you for listening, everyone.